Welcome to KC Cares. We're the voice of the Kansas City nonprofits, and we share the stories of local nonprofits and the individuals who drive them. At KC Cares, we like to connect the nonprofit and business sectors to enhance the quality of life in Kansas City for our residents and our visitors. This KC Cares segment is brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.kaufman.org. I'm Ruth Baum-Biggis. We're always on the lookout for new nonprofits doing exciting things in our community, and today's guest definitely fits that bill. It's Teen Tix KC, an inspiring new organization helping build a bright future for our region by empowering young people to step into the arts world, not just as audience members, but as critics, influencers, advocates, patrons, and leaders. Joining us to share how Teen Tix KC is opening doors and shaping the next generation of arts lovers is its executive director, Martin English. Martin, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You're no stranger to the show. We've had you before, so we're delighted to have you back. Teen Tix KC, we need to unwrap this and tell us about not only what you are, but how this all started.
Sure. Well, Teen Tix KC is an initiative of KC Studio, which I know you're familiar with. So a shout out to Guy Townsend and Heidi Nast and the whole KC Studio team for supporting this new initiative. The concept began 20 years ago in Seattle. And so about 3 years ago, it expanded to the Los Angeles market. And then Guy said, hey, you know what? I think it might have some legs here in Kansas City. So he reached out to me and said, "Can we kind of do a study on this and see what the reception might be?" And it's been really spectacular so far. So as you mentioned, essentially what Teen Tix wants to do is really empower and engage teens in the arts community in all of those roles as audience members and critics, influencers, and leaders. We do that in a couple ways. So the biggest way is through the Teen Tix KC Pass. So any 13 to 19-year-old can download a free pass to their phone, and they can use that pass to buy 2 $5 tickets to arts performances and exhibits and venues all around Kansas City. So we have some wonderful arts partners, including Kansas City Repertory Theater and Lyric Opera of Kansas City and Kansas City Ballet and the Nelson and the Nerman and the Kemper and Midwest Trust Center and the Coterie. Lots of wonderful places, performances, exhibits for teens to explore. And there's a lot of obstacles for teens around the metro to go out and experience the arts. But, one of the biggest ones typically is cost. And so for a teen to be able to get a couple of $5 tickets to go see a world-class opera or world-class exhibit is really overcoming one of those obstacles and giving teens access to the arts. So that's the main way that we're doing that, is giving them access. And we have sort of 2 categories of partners that are helping us. I mentioned the arts partners categories. Obviously, those are the venues where teens are exploring. We also have another category called community partners. And so these are organizations that interact with teens and their families, and they help us get the word out about the opportunity. So folks like Big Brothers Big Sisters and Youth Volunteer Corps and KC School District and Grandview School District. And so it's really not going to be me who's going to sell this program to teens. It's peer-to-peer. It's their fellow teens. It's their arts, after-school arts program providers.
Gotcha. So I want to go back. You had explained this started in Seattle.
Yes.
Who was it started by there? And are you like an affiliate? How does that work?
Yeah, we actually, it's a loose affiliation. In other words, we have complete autonomy, but we invest in the branding and the shell. And so, which was great for us starting up here in Kansas City, because there was a pre-built sort of website that we plugged in here.
Gotcha.
and which is great because IT is not my jam. So building that from scratch would have been a bit of a challenge. So in that way, we are kind of a franchisee, but we have, like I said, we have complete autonomy on how we apply the program or how we roll the program out here. And so we do receive technical support from Seattle. As I said, LA was their first satellite, and we have become the second. Fun fact, the teen passes are reciprocal. So if a teen's up here and they go visit their cousin in Seattle or LA, their pass works on all of those venues.
That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. So every time they expand to a new market, your pass becomes more valuable.
That's incredible. You're also talking about how this idea started 20 years ago. Here in Kansas City, was this being talked about?
Well, I think it was just before the pandemic when a representative from the Wallace Foundation came and actually did a community gathering at the Kauffman Conference Center, and Guy Townsend attended that. And what he was talking about was multiple ways to expand audiences. And this was one of the models that he highlighted. And so Guy kind of took notes and thought, hey, this is something I'd like to try. Then the pandemic hit and sort of everything got put on the back burner. So when things sort of got cleared of that, Guy reached out to me, as I said, about a year and a half ago and said, hey, let's explore this together. So we did our pilot of this in the fall. We just launched in January, our full launch. And so we're going full steam ahead now. And it's a program, like I said, that is really driven by the teens. Our second part of the program, beside the pass, is what we call our press corps. So in Seattle, these are teens, they meet once a month. They get paid a stipend for their time. In Seattle, they're doing their own podcasting.
Wow.
They're writing reviews. They're creating reels and sharing them on Instagram. And so we just launched our own press corps here in September. And so now we've got teens, we're giving teens the tools to review the wonderful arts experiences that they're having and to create reels and share that peer-to-peer. Hey, I just saw this great exhibit at the NERM, you should check it out. Here's why. And so we're really excited about that potential too. And we've got a blog on our website where teens are getting published. So it's a really great thing for them as well.
Go ahead and give that shameless plug for the website so everybody will know where to go.
Absolutely. Well, it's www.kc.teentix.org, TEENTIX.org. And on there, you'll find a great interactive calendar where, a teen can get up on this morning and say, hey, what's happening Tuesday night in Kansas City where I can use my pass, and have all of those things listed there. They have their blog there where you're going to see multiple reviews by teens, what they're recommending other teens go see. And then each of our partners has its own standalone page too. So we're proud to support the things that they're doing in the community as well.
Oh, so many questions. So you're not even a year old yet here in the community, really?
That's right.
How do you get the teens and get involved? And a tag question to that would be like, do you have a teen board that's helping guide you? Because, of course, you and I we're not that old, but we are not the teens.
We are not teens. You are correct about that. So how do we get the teens? We really rely on those community partners to assist us. So when I go and visit a program like we're doing on Thursday, when I go and visit an after-school program at Maddie Rhodes or at the Chicano Arts Center, or in other instances, I'm really, boots on the ground, sharing the information with those partners, and they're sharing it out and putting it in their e-newsletters and telling their teens and families, because it's free, to sign up for the pass. It's free. There's no obligation. They use it or they don't. It's pretty easy to do. Excuse me. So that's how we're spreading the word about the teens. The other thing, we're having teens obviously utilize social media and share peer-to-peer. Fun thing we just did. We have a small boutique marketing firm called Sparkade, who has been very supportive, doing some pro bono work for us. And we just shot a 30-second commercial featuring our press corps teens. We shot that at the newly restored Warwick Theater, kind of a red carpet sort of feel to it. And we're actually going to get an opportunity to air that in a very limited way on Amazon Prime. So that'll be kind of fun to see how that works. So we have lots of different ways of reaching out and getting teens involved. But when I look at those that database as those requests are coming in, I see a lot of I found out from a friend or a peer or my parent. So there's a lot of word of mouth about, hey, I wish I had this when I was a teen.
Yeah, really.
I want you to sign up. And, I feel like some of the parents are motivated because each teen can buy 2 $5 tickets. So the mom or the dad are saying, hey, get that pass so you can take me to blah, 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 whatever that performance is. The funny thing we've seen, not funny, I think it's really lovely. We've seen several big brother, big sisters, bigs and littles pairs coming together.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, it's really fun because, we all know those bigs often are paying out of pocket for activities for their littles. But now the little can say, I got you. I'm taking us to the Coterie Friday night and I'm buying. So,
how great.
Yeah, I love that.
How many teens do you have signed up right now?
Yeah, so about 1,450 teens from around the metro have all downloaded the pass, and it's a very diverse and widespread group. They represent 260 school buildings, so it's not 500 kids from one school. They're from all over the metro area, and very diverse, as I said. Many of them are, I think about 41% are teens of color, about 38% are teens that are Title I or are eligible for free and reduced lunches. So we feel like there's a lot of teens out there that are getting the opportunity to attend some of these arts venues who wouldn't typically get an opportunity to do that were it not for the pass. Seattle has this great quote, which I love, and I use it often, I steal it, and that is, often the underserved are the uninvited. And I love that because sometimes, it's not because that teen is from a certain zip code or that teen can't afford it or that teen doesn't have transportation. Sometimes it's just that they don't feel welcome at a venue or they haven't been invited or another teen hasn't gone with them. And so that's our ultimate goal, is to get teens out exploring on their own with their buddies to go to venues they've not been to before.
Well, and I would imagine for some kids, it's like, oh, I couldn't afford that. Right. I mean, I couldn't go to that. So you're opening this opportunity. I think it's wonderful. I want to go back again and talk organizationally. So this had been in place elsewhere, and you've been able to grasp onto what you're doing. How has that been to launch this initiative? It's got to be a little bit of hard work.
Well, yeah, I ended up interviewing the executive directors or artistic directors of about 55 organizations during the sort of the planning and, the process of seeing, is this going to be sustainable? And what I kept hearing from, Deb at the opera and folks from all of these arts organizations is that about 80% of them said they're not back to pre-pandemic audience levels yet.
Right.
So they're all very interested in audience development and all of the tools that they can use to develop audiences. And so Teen Tix KC is just another tool that they can use to get the word out to a group that might be a little more mercurial. It's difficult, if you're an organization, well, where do I spend my money? How do I reach these teens? How do I market that out? But if there's a program that already has a whole bunch of teens that are sharing peer-to-peer, then that's helpful. It's helpful to me to get those teens into the building, and it's very low risk. It's actually no risk for those arts organizations because it's built on the day of show kind of TKTS in New York model, right?
Okay.
So, on a Friday morning, the ticketing person at Kansas City Repertory Theater might get up and look at their box office report and see, okay, we've got 100 tickets left for tonight's performance. I'm going to set 50 aside for Teen Tix KC and 50 aside for walk-ups and emergencies. And so they get to call the shots on how many of those tickets are available. And if they're sold out, they're sold out. So it's a win-win because hopefully, they're making a little bit of revenue off of those unsold seats. And hopefully they're getting a teen into their building that's maybe never been there before.
So for the arts organizations, do they pay to be part of the program?
Yes, for the arts organizations, there's an annual fee, which is equal to 0.1% of their budget. So, an example, if you had $1 million budget, it's a $1,000 annual fee. So it's very reasonable to participate. And then, of course, part of what they get in exchange is our promotion directly to all of our teens every time they open a show. They have their own page on our website. And even when they're doing auditions, for example, Christmas Carol auditions or Nutcracker auditions, when they're looking for young people and teens, we're helping push that information out for them as well.
And so it's a day of.
Yes.
Today I want to go see Christmas Carol. Let me look at my Teen Tix app. How does that all work?
Yeah. So, right. So they, on the phone, they would just click on the calendar and just see where can I go today and use my pass. And so it's, for the teen, it's pretty, like I said, it's pretty simple. One thing I've learned over the past year working on the program, you and I, who are non-teens, probably like to plan ahead a little bit, like a week or maybe even 2 weeks, and say, I'm going to go see that show on that date. What I've learned is that teens aren't in that same bucket. They get on a group chat and say, hey, what do you want to do tonight? Oh, well, let's go check out the show at the Unicorn. Hey, do you want to come with this? Great. We'll use our passes. Boom. They go do it. So it's and now the other thing that I would say is that once a month, we try to do a Teen Tix night at a particular venue. And the goal there is to help those teens figure out, how to use the pass, how to use the calendar, go there with peers and people that they trust, maybe to a place they've never been before, and give it a try. So, for example, we just had a Teen Tix night at Midwest Trust Center for a wonderful performance. It was kind of like a Cirque du Soleil type performance. It was called Tilt. We hosted a dinner beforehand so the teens got to interact with each other. They got to talk with a member of the artistic company about all of the logistics of how they set up and do all that. They got to see the show. They got to, to do a selfie after the show. Same thing for Dracula. We got to a backstage tour after seeing Dracula at KC Rep, which is really super interesting for those teens. So we do that once a month. And so we'll go to a venue and say, normally it's just day of, but hey, KC Rep, will you carve out 20 or 30 tickets on this specific night? We'll bring a group. And so far, it's been really, really a great, rich experience for those teens.
We're talking with Martin English. He is the executive director of Teen Tix KC, an exciting new initiative here in Kansas City, getting those young people out to the arts with reduced ticket price and using an app. So it's all the cool things. Let's talk about your reviewers. So who are these kids? Can anybody just do this, or do they have to go through some kind of education, as it were?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we did an application process, and so we selected 20 for our first round of press corps, and this will go through September through May is our first iteration of it. And again, they're from all over the city. We have one from Ruskin High School, and one from Shawnee Mission, and one from Liberty, and 2 homeschoolers. I mean, they're from everywhere. And they're teens that are interested in arts journalism or arts in general, or in creating social media and reels. And so we meet once a month for a couple of hours, and we're giving them the training and the tools. What makes a good review? You got to have a hook. You've got to have these basic things. What makes a great 90-second reel that goes on Instagram? You've got to have something that's eye-catching right at the top, and it's got to be less than 90 seconds. So we're teaching them and giving them those tools, and then saying, okay, fly, be free, go out and see these shows, and write a review or do a reel. And we also pay them for their reviews and their reels. So we think their time and their efforts are worth being paid. So that's part of what we're raising funds for, is to help give the stipend for being part of the press corps. And then each time they get a review posted, we pay them a small stipend as well. So
the reviews are posted on your site.
Yes, yep. And it's at the top, it's called the blog. And if you look at the blog, you'll see multiple reviews. Great review of Dracula was just posted, of Beauty and the Beast at the Music Hall. A Match Made in Heaven, that exhibit at the Nerman, great reviews of those that have just been posted. And then on our Instagram, we have reels that the teens are posting as well. And so, arts journalism, is, as we know, we have to really push really hard to make sure that survives, because there are fewer arts reviewers and fewer folks that are responding to the arts than there were 10 years ago. So hopefully we're part of that solution by creating young, hungry arts influencers, and having them use what they know best, whether that's Instagram or TikTok or whatever, to make reels to say, go see this great show.
So these are professional arts organizations as opposed to community theaters.
Correct.
You have some of those. So it's the quote unquote, professional organizations. And I assume you're still cultivating more partners.
Yes. Yeah. That's where we are now. That's not to say that at some point we won't expand, but right now we're highlighting professional, nonprofit arts organizations.
As you put this together, share with us, pull back the curtain, to use a wicked Wizard of Oz cue. What kind of bumps in the road have you hit? You're up and running, which is fantastic, and you've got great numbers, but we want to know, you make it sound so easy.
Yeah, there are certainly challenges. One thing that we found out right away is, as we were interviewing organizations and talking about how do we want to structure this, in Seattle, they only require their arts partners to sell the teen one $5 ticket. But Seattle has a little bit better public transportation system than we do. So we knew right off the bat that in Kansas City, we are going to have to allow the teen to buy 2 $5 tickets, so that mom or dad or big brother or older friend who may be driving them to the venue can attend as well. And so that was one thing we figured out right away. And frankly, haven't had any pushback from the arts organizations. And I can understand that in their mind. Hey, if I can get the adult in there too with the teen who maybe has never been to a unicorn show before or a Kansas City Actors Theater show before, that's great too. So that was one thing. The other challenge that we are constantly working with and trying to figure out is transportation.
Right.
Transportation for 13, 14, 15-year-olds who may not live in Midtown KC can be a challenge for them getting places. And so we haven't quite figured that out yet. We're going to approach the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world. We're going to approach folks who might be willing to assist with transportation for some teens to get them to venues. We're super excited about the extension of the streetcar, because now that extension is going to pick up Kansas City Repertory Theater and Nelson and Kemper, and the Met Theater and the Unicorn Theater. It's going to pick up a whole bunch of venues. So now teens in my area can jump on the streetcar and go down to Kaufman, and teens in that area can jump on the streetcar and come down here to the Rep. So we're interested to see how that might move some teens around as well.
Right. It's those outlying areas. We're not smart enough in KC to have those fingers out to the suburbs all around the big metro area.
Right.
Sure. Well, it sounds like you're trying to figure out how to adjust or figure out how to get those kiddos. For the community youth partners, the big brothers, big sisters, YMCA, et cetera, do they have to pay a fee to be connected with you?
No, not at all. We essentially sign a mutual promotional agreement. It's pretty simple, but essentially it says you're going to have a presence on our website, including your logo and your upcoming events, and we are going to promote everything that you do. And we ask that they do the same, on their website, just to put up an icon that says, we participate in Teen Tix KC. So if a teen is checking out an arts website and they see that icon, they know, oh, hey, I can use my pass here. So that's really what we ask in return. And so far, that's been a great model as well. So when Girls on the Run is doing their big fall push for signups for young teen girls or mentors or whatever, we're helping them push that information out with our teens and our families as well. And then in their newsletter, they're saying, hey, teens, here's a great opportunity. It's free. Check it out.
What are you hearing from the teens? Some who've probably never been to a professional arts performance or maybe some of our great museums. What's the feedback?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. A few weeks ago, we did a Teen Tix night at Kansas City Actors Theater production of Death Trap. And the group that we brought was from Link, Local Investment Commission, and they do a whole lot of after-school programs. And probably 95 to 100% of their students are Title I students. Mm-hmm. And so Link arranged for a bus to go around to multiple after-school sites, picked up those students. We brought them all together. We provided them a pizza dinner. We brought in the director and the TD and an artistic personnel person to talk with them, do a Q&A before the show. Here's some cool things I want you to look for, and be careful of this, and we'd love to hear your reaction to that. Then they went and got to see Death Trap, and then they got to go up on stage, and the actors came out afterwards and interact with them and take selfies. And so the Link, and they were all thrilled, by the way. Again, it's a very rich experience that the public doesn't get, but they get because they're a Teen Tix member, and it's a special deal for them. But I asked the Link person afterwards, and he said, maybe 75% of these teens have never seen a professional production before. None of them had been to a KCAT production before. We asked them that. So they're, in those instances, they're getting an opportunity to experience it with their peers, like I said, with adults they trust, and kind of get over that hump of, well, I can come down here. I don't need to, I don't need to wait for a group to do this. You and me and 3 of my buddies can jump on the streetcar and come down here and see the next show. So the response from the teens has been really good. Like I said, I get a lot of response from parents saying, I wish we had this when I was
right.
But the teens have been really grateful for those opportunities to explore, because, if you were paying a $50 or a $60 ticket, you would be less willing to sample. So a teen might say to themselves, I've never been to the ballet. I don't know if I'm going to like the ballet or not. But for $5, hey, I'll go give it a try. That's really low risk for me. So you never know.
I'm going to go find a teen.
Yes, you did. Exactly.
Find yourself a teen. Not in any wrong way. I didn't mean that, but great. We just have a moment or two left. Where do you hope to be in a year from now?
So a year from now, we would like to expand our footprint as far as arts organizations. There's some arts organizations we'd love to have in the fold. Eventually, we'd like to go to different kinds of arts organizations. We might someday go to film, where we're trying to get into some art house films, things like that. We'd also like to expand the press corps so that it goes year round. Obviously, that depends on funding, but we want to keep those teens engaged through the summer as well. And we just want to keep pushing forward and expanding the footprint of how many teens are engaged and getting out there and seeing shows.
Well, it's fantastic. We're so excited to share this with our audience. It's Teen Tix KC. It's kc.teentix.org. Check it out. Tell your favorite teen. Thank you, Martin, for being here.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us for KC Cares. We're produced by a nonprofit called Shareable Communications. And this KC Cares segment was brought to you by the Ewing Marion Kaufman Foundation, www.org. You can find out all about us and how you can be a guest at our website, kccaresonline.org. And spread the love. You'll find us on Facebook and Twitter at KC Cares Radio and Instagram at KC Cares Online. And don't forget, on Saturday mornings, you can catch us at 8 a.m. on ESPN 1510 AM and 94.5 FM. Thanks for joining us on KC Cares.